See, I know for a fact that I stopped the last video and it did it again. Really pissing me off. Maybe is it talking to a different group of people? Shall be consumed together, said the Lord. There's something about this. It just doesn't seem like this is a good interpretation, though. Because just reading it without trying to think of meaning, it just seems like this doesn't seem like a good thing. This just seems like things that you're not supposed to be doing. For I know their thoughts, for their works and their thoughts. I don't know. What's the significance of eating swan's flesh? See, it's like they already know the verse that I'm talking about. What was I about to say? Well, now I found in the American Standard Version, they shall come to an end together. So it does sound like a group of people. They're comparing a group of people together and saying that it all ends at once. Because abomination is something that's disrespectful to God. So I reread it all together, and they that sanctify themselves and purify themselves in the gardens behind one tree in the midst, eating swine flesh and the abomination of and the mouth shall be consumed together, said the Lord. When you read it all together, it doesn't sound like it's a good thing, because the point is God coming down destroying something, right? What if it's the opposite? Because you can't sanctify yourself. You can't purify yourself. It's just something that I said earlier. But in the Bible, a lot of people do try to play God. That makes me think of this Bible study that I had with Kitty Rose. And I forgot which study it was, but it reminded me the first time I read whatever she read before. The first time you think about it, it just sounds like, oh, this is a good thing. But if you think about it deeper, it wasn't a good thing, because it was them trying to play God. And it's something that I didn't peep at first. But it's also just something that God has a humorous sense of humor, like not humiliation. He has a very funny sense of humor, because he low-key came for them. The way that she broke it down, he came for them, and I just thought, mouth drop, right? Because they thought they were so big. They thought they made a tower that touched the heavens, and they said that God had to come down to look at it. That's how small it was compared to God, that he didn't even have to really do nothing about it. And was just like, oh, okay. Sure. Like, the way that she explained it, I was so tickled. Because no shade, no tea. You throw shade, no tea. Right? Now it makes me think of that. And it makes me think of if we're connecting the first two, and how we're talking about Jesus coming down, and he's angry, and he's getting rid of something, and he's battling with the flesh, he's going against this, then maybe part of the things he's going against, maybe it's just a continuation, and they're talking about like the things that doesn't make him happy. So he's putting everybody in a group and just kind of like listing the people that sanctify themselves, people that purify themselves, behind one tree, like this one maybe agreement behind this one movement supporting each other. The people that are eating swine's flesh, that's not a good thing. I know for a fact that's not a good thing. Those and the abomination, eating swine flesh, disrespecting God. It says and the mouse. I don't know what and the mouse means, but I do know a mouse is a rodent, and rodents tend to be creatures that look harmless, but they low-key invade your space. They low-key leave behind disgusting things. They infest, right? They infest a space. They start off small, they start off looking harmless, and the next thing you know, it multiplies and it's affecting everything in your house, right? You don't like mouse. You don't want a mouse in your house, right? So if we're thinking about it in that sense, and if we're thinking about sin, those little small things that becomes little addictions, that become something to take over your mind, it can takes over your thought, but saying all of those shall be consumed together, consumed in the sense of being destroyed, getting rid of. And if we're thinking about a person being delivered or having their sin destroyed, if God has something to say about it, then it makes me think of God telling you, because mind you, the thought is still the new creation, you becoming new. All those little things, all those big things can be destroyed. You trying to do it on your own, you trying to get behind certain things to do it on your own, you trying to place yourself in an environment to be your own God, you doing all these sinful things, having this sinful nature, all these little things that are low-key infesting your spirit or destroying you, all that gotta go. It says, said the Lord. So what if that's what that means? If I know their works and their thoughts, I know what could happen. I know what these things are up to, right? I know its purpose, because hypothetically it makes me think, so like what if, I'm trying to relate it to me and something that I could say about me. I'm trying to relate it in a sense of like a problem that I really would have, my desire for a relationship, and how I would like idolize that for a very long time, right? It starts off small, but then all of a sudden it becomes a problem and has caused me problems. But I'm trying to tie it into like what are habits that I do that start off small but turn into a big problem later, that God would obviously want me to get out of because he knows how damaging it could be. What about when I'm in a relationship? I tend to get real, I'm kind in general, right? Thoughtful person in general. And there's nothing wrong with that. But when that relationship becomes my primary focus, and my works are good, but at the same time, how do I make this make sense? If it's sent by the devil and the purpose of it is to destroy me, God would obviously see that. For you, it's something small, but I know this could destroy you. You don't see this friend, this guy, this job, this small little habit as a threat. You're trying to take matters into your own hand. You don't see it as a problem. But what you don't see is that 10 years down the line, this man calls you out of your purpose. What you don't see is that you're giving your life over to this job, but I had something else for you. What you don't see is that it's going to make you complacent. What you don't see is this friend has some envious of you. What you don't see, this person is intentionally, quite literally plotting to kill you. What you don't see is you become so caught up in XYZ that you're already so far gone with what I had intended for you. You want a marriage so bad, so you're just picking any kind of body. You want success so bad, so you're just accepting any kind of job. You don't want to be alone, so you just start to be friends with anybody and not the circle that you're supposed to have. And these people low-key do XYZ behind the closed doors, right? If that makes sense. I don't know if that makes sense. It makes sense in my head of the point that I'm trying to get into, though. That need to be in control, falling into certain desires, feeding into certain desires, having things take over and infest your house, meaning you, your spirit, your mindset, your house, where you reside, where God resides. Because I think people forget that your temple, your house, your body is where God resides. God lives within you, right? Your spirit. So if you're consuming certain things, you're bringing that in. And if you're bringing that out in, God has to go out. All that gotta go. All those habits, all those thoughts, all those people gotta go. Because God knows what that can do. That's how I'm interpreting this right now. I could be wrong. We're gonna keep reading though. I will gather all nations and tongues, and they shall come and see my glory. And I will set a sign among them, and I will send those that escape of them unto the nations. I'm gonna leave that for later, because then it starts talking about a place or names, and I just know that that's a whole nother thing, because that's what I learned when it comes to names and places, and that'll probably make or break my understanding. Just a thought. But I'm gonna go get some watermelon, possibly pray on that, and ask for confirmation. And it's 6 in the morning. I've been up for a little bit. I've been up for like 5:20, trying to figure this out. We're gonna see. We're gonna see. Give me a second. Bye.